Are we live? Like, can anybody see me? Can you hear me? Well, hello. This is gonna be fun. Welcome to the new moon in Aquarius. I am delighted to be with you. I am technically not well enough to be with you. But if I wasn't with you, first of all, Dave was going to have someone else do it, which really would have been weird for me. I'll just be honest. If you ever see a moon ceremony for Sage Goddess and there's somebody else sitting here, Houston, we have a problem. I want to do them with you. The second thing is, I haven't missed a moon ceremony in almost 12 years. So nobody else, just me. I have taken as much cold and flu medicine as one little person can take, and I have put on enough makeup to wake the dead. And I'm actually really excited to be here with you tonight because this new moon for me is everything. It's everything. I mean, one of the reasons I'm fighting to be here with you tonight is that it represents something beyond what we normally consider even just basic new moon magic. It is so big. So do you mind if I take a minute and while I clear, actually I don't have a lighter. Under the tea in the drawer, I think, is a lighter.
Okay, yeah.
Good thing is I'm at home and I can tell you there's 14,000 lighters in this house. We will find one of them for you. I just didn't, bless you, and it works even better. Okay, so bear with me. It is a little hard to breathe. But if you are also not feeling well, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna kick it together. And I am thankful for your patience. I am drinking Renewal Tea by Magic Hour Tea. This is not a commercial for Magic Hour Tea, but one of my dear friends, Zena, owns the company, and when I drink tea, which is a lot, if I don't have her tea, I'm always sad. So this is her Renewal Blend. I highly recommend it. And I am going to pause and take breaks during tonight's festivities, so you won't hear me talking quite as quickly as I usually do, which might be nice for some of you who know I talk too fast anyway. Okay, so what do I want to talk to you about tonight? I'm going to clear a little bit of energy with white sage. If you have white sage, or if you have Palo Santo or copal, I was burning copal earlier today. One of the reasons I like to burn white sage when I'm sick, especially really sick like this, is I like to inhale it because the smoke is antibacterial, antimicrobial, and antifungal. So it's actually really good for cold and flu season. So Mama's going to take a little bit and then pass a little bit to you and ask you just to receive the medicine. So yeah, I don't know if you saw my Facebook post. I did bake like 6 or 8 cloves of garlic and just ate them raw and baked. It didn't smell good, but it tasted really good. I mashed it into bread. I mashed it into chicken broth. So yours truly is doing all the things. So I want to talk about this new moon. Hear me out for a minute, because especially those of you who are interested in why we feel the way we do, and this is not a normal new moon in Aquarius. The moon is in Aquarius, the sun is in Aquarius. This next Friday, my mom would have turned 80, what would she have turned? I'm 50, she would have turned 81. And my grandmother on the 13th would have turned 107. So all the great matriarchs of my line are Aquarian women with a lot of Aquarius in their chart. So I have mad respect for all of you who are Aquarians. The sun is in Aquarius, the moon's in Aquarius, and the new moon is square Uranus. Now, why does this matter? Well, Uranus, which sometimes, the easy way to remember Uranus and what it does is it sometimes feels like Uranus, like a pain in Uranus, because it can be good and it can be bad. It can be really challenging. You never know what to expect with Uranus, which is why I still call it Uranus, like a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old. But in all seriousness, it is a pain sometimes. And when the new moon, with all these new beginnings, is square Uranus, my tagline has been, nothing is off the table. There's no possibility that's off limits right now. So that adds a little kind of like fruit juice to our mix tonight, right? Then Uranus and the moon are in what some astrologers call a small learning triangle to Venus. Now Venus comes in to kind of save the day, because Venus, as you know, my rising is Libra, and which Libra's ruled by Venus. And so there's a part of my personality that wants to smooth things over, make things easier, make sure you're comfortable, make sure people are enjoying their food. Like, it's very much a hostess vibe. So there's this energy of like, but it's all going to be okay, and just take your time. And then there's also this, but you never know what's going to happen. And then the new moon is like, fuck it. You know what I mean? What you got? You know, you don't like where you are? Great. You're not a tree. Pick up your roots and your bags and go. Like, go somewhere else. If you're not happy here, do something else. And it's a call to action is what this new moon is. This is not a sit back, relax, Netflix and chill kind of new moon. This is like, if you don't like it, stand up and say something. Now, I've been doing that a lot this week. I wouldn't say like in the playground of life, I don't know that I've gone around my world making friends this week, but I'm also not going to sit still and be quiet. And there's a little bit of that vibration of this new moon. Like, no, if you don't like it, say something about it, change the scene. And you're ultimately responsible both for how you live your life and how you respond to the events that happen to you. And you don't have to take things sitting down. Aquarians, one of the things, and can you guys give me the Aquarius information here? Sun, moon, rising, anybody? Even if your Venus is in Aquarius, that you're going to feel this a little bit more than most people will. Anybody Venus in Aquarius? You guys, one of the things I love about you is you are activists. You do not stay silent. You do not like it when things are happening that you don't approve of. And you also don't like it when it's happening to anyone you love. You're very protective. And you're about the collective. Like, even if your life is perfect, but it's not going well for other people, you are going to stand up and wave the flag. And so it's one of the things I really love about Aquarians. And I was raised by really strong Aquarian women who are like, no, that's a pass. You know what I mean? Like, it's a hard no. We're not doing that. Or yes, that's okay with me. It's working for me. Or it's not working for me, but it works for everybody else. So I'm going to make a sacrifice. So I just want to say all of these things to you to kind of set the stage for tonight's events, because we called the tools for tonight the winds of change. And I meant to use my new little smudge fan, but I'll use it when we're done decorating our stand. So tonight, the tools that we're working with are Winds of Freedom perfume, and I'll explain the notes to you. It's blue tansy, which raises your personal frequency and vibration. Look at all the Aquarian energy, by the way. And North Node, too, Cynthia Gutierrez, so obviously you're going to be activated, too. The North Node planetarily right now is not in Aquarius, but yours is, so you're going to feel this. Sweet anise, which is about clearing negativity. Sweet fennel, which is about balancing moods and emotions. Lavender, which is really good for tranquility and peace. And then clary sage. Clary sage clears everything in your body. It really does. It even clears your skin. If you have acne, clary sage is really good for, I still break out at 50 years old, which is crazy, but my mom was an esthetician and she always said that was a good thing because I wouldn't wrinkle as much as other people because I have oily skin. But anyway, so if you still break out, a little clary sage is also really good with some salicylic acid for your minor bumps and lumps that you might get. So yes, tonight is the new moon. Last night was the dark moon. Tonight we do two things. How many of you have been with me long enough to know, I'm going to change from top chat to live chat, and you should do the same thing too on your chat. How many of you have been with me long enough to know what are the two things we do at the new moon? We set intentions, but first we clear energy. We let go, right? So, yeah, and if you don't have any Aquarius in your chart, that's great. The moon's like, who cares? Great, I'll be there for you. The sun's like, great, I'm doing it. We're here for you. We've got you. We release anything that isn't serving us. Holy shit. I brought down 8 or 12 or 8,000 suitcases of shit from upstairs to release tonight. I'm going to throw it to a bonfire. I'm just kidding. But, you know, it feels like it. So all of the stuff that we're not really willing to carry it around. And I don't want to carry a lot of this stuff into spring equinox, which is around the corner. So we do have our little month of magic set that launched. Did you see it? I'm obsessed with glass bunnies. If you didn't get the kit, it's still at sagegoddess.com. The reason there's a glass bunny in the kit is because my grandmother collected glass bunnies, and it's kind of sad, but it's actually the only thing I have of hers from her possessions, because a lot of her possessions got stolen. She was in a convalescent care hospital, and a lot of her things got stolen, which is very sad. It happens to older people, unfortunately. But one thing that did not get stolen was a little glass bunny that sits up in my bedroom, and it's one of my prized possessions. So we put a little glass bunny as the centerpiece of our month of magic little kit for you. Don't go get it now, but you can get it later. But it's there in honor of my grandmother and her sweet love of little buns. Okay, so we're going to do both of those things tonight. Our candle tonight has all of the same notes. So it's the sweet anise, the lavender, the orange, and the lemon. So I'm going to go ahead and light my candle now. While we're in this in bulk midwinter sitch, it's nice to bring as much fire energy as you can. And then for the first time tonight, I'm burning my Selva candle, which is also at sagegoddess.com. This is the scent that was made for me for my birthday in the jungle this year, and we replicated it to perfection. So we'll be burning this candle in class if you're an apothecary, but I needed a good reason to initiate the use of it, so the new moon seemed like the perfect time. Okay, so we're going to begin, as we always do, by opening the circle, and I'm going to read you a poem, and I'm going to recommend this book to you. I didn't write this book. I wish I had, but none of the poems in it are actually even written by the author. It's compiled by Ali Esseri, or Esseri. I don't know how to pronounce Ali's last name, but I bought this book for a few people in my life for a Christmas present. It is all of my favorite poems in one anthology, and some that I wasn't familiar with yet. So I've dog-eared a lot of pages, but there's one poem that really felt like it holds the energy of the new moon in Aquarius. If you don't mind, I'm going to read you a poem by Anne Gray, who was born in 1946. She's still alive. And it's called Love, Listen. Are you ready? Because at this new moon, we can do love a different way, and I think a lot of us it's time for that. So here goes. Let's love, listen, take time when time is all we have. Let's be unafraid to be kind. Learn to disregard the bad if the good outweighs it daily. Let's make a gift of silence, the days hushing into dark. And when we hold each other, let's always be astonished that we are where we want to be. Let's hope to age together, but if we can't, let's promise now to remember how we shone when we were at our best and we were most ourselves. If I ever get married again, I think that might be my vow. I think that's a vow I could actually say and mean. Isn't that beautiful? Let's love, listen, take time when time is all we have. Let's be unafraid to be kind. Learn to disregard the bad if the good outweighs it daily. Let's make a gift of silence. My favorite part is, when we hold each other, let's always be astonished that we are where we want to be. Isn't that beautiful? So anyway, not my book, but it's a great book. And if you're a poetess like me, you will enjoy it. Give yourself, what I did each morning when I first got the book is every morning I just read one with my coffee or my tea. And I just took it in like a sweet, you know, like something to look forward to in the morning. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Let's love and listen. While time is all we have. Indeed. Okay, so tonight what we are doing, my darling friends, and truly I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being patient with me and my voice, and also brain fog, which seems to be part of whatever I've got going on. I'm very thankful also to Jared for coming to the house so that I could be in the comfort of my home tonight. So I'm very thankful for a lot of things. Okay, so in your kit, you received 3, I think, metallic markers. I am going to remind you, je ne suis artiste. This is not my gift to the world. I'm not like a drawer or like a painter. I'm a writer. But when it comes to turning me loose on something like this, I just hope for the best. But what's nice is you have complete freedom tonight. So what came in your kit was the little stand, which we've glued together, and it will hold your fan. So it looks okay now, but it's kind of, you know, it's giving Michael's vibes, right? Like it looks like something that you would have gotten at Michael's. So we want to turn it into something that you have your fingerprint on. So we want it to be beautiful, and we want it to be magical. If you don't have the tools, that's okay. What I would say is maybe take this time to draw or paint on, if you have an extra canvas, or because we're just going to get into the zone, right? Or even a page from your journal, right? Like tonight would be a great opportunity to write down some intentions and to, you know, decorate the page with colored pencils. It doesn't have to be the exact thing that we're doing. It's more the mood and the vibration. So I just want to show you what we're doing before we begin. Okay, so I'm going to anoint with our perfume, and then we're going to do our releasing work together. It's giving Michael's vibes. Listen, I have nothing in my heart but true appreciation for Michael's. I fucking love Michael's. And then when Michael's appeared on Instacart, I thought it was a sign that Jesus was coming back. I was like, I can have anything from Michael's in my house if it's 10 a.m. by noon. Watch it happen. Like that was a new day for me. And then Zoe bought me my first gift ever with her own, I think it was $2 or $3 in the little checkout aisle there. So it has very special meaning to me. We got nothing but love for Michael's. But you know what I'm saying. Okay, so what we're gonna do right this very minute is we're gonna call in the guides and guardians of the directions. And this, well, I don't know. This is a moment just to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. Sorry for my voice. The plane overhead was kind of vibing with me for a minute. I was like, So let's call in the guides and guardians of the East to be here with us to open our circle tonight. Brand new cycle, new ways of thinking. We've got an Aquarius new moon. That's an air element, of course. That's another nod to the direction of East tonight. Out the box, we're gonna have to switch it up. There's no other way. This ushers the age of Aquarius, right? All the forward motion of all the other planets. No excuses. Momentum now. Guides and guardians of the south, element of fire. We're going to throw in your direction tonight everything that we can no longer carry with us, what's too heavy, too burdensome to carry into the season ahead. Thank you for passion and courage, transformation in the south. And then to the guides and the guardians of the west, water element, magic, and medicine. This is energies of healing, renewal, abundance, flow. Thank you for showing us the pathway to mental, physical, emotional healing on all levels, across all timelines and dimensions. For all that are watching, for myself too, Yaho in the west. And then to the guides and the guardians of the north. We welcome you in. Energies of patience and peace. Standing in our power, but not being rigid. We're letting things go tonight with the wind, the breeze. Thinking differently. We're grateful for that opportunity. The guardians of the north for holding the space. Guides and guardians of the element of ether, spirit, magic, the Akash. We bring you in to unite the east, the south, the west, the north. Bring them all together. As above and so below, as within, so without. We see you, we meet you here. And together we say on this new moon, as we always do, near and far, wherever you are, Amen. Aho. And so it is. Yeah. Good stuff. All timelines, all gateways, all dimensions, all guides, all the cool kids. Nobody's left out tonight. We need them all. I did something really nice for myself today. And you know what the best part is? It's something I would never have done, and I couldn't have done it alone. It took a friend to help me. And took two people to help me. It took a friend reaching out to another friend to do it. And I'll tell you about it later, not tonight, when it's done. But something really sweet happened today. So again, it's another reason why I just wanted to be here with you. And it involves amethyst, which I think is so crazy, because if you look at the stone on the handle of your smudging fan, that's where you're going to hold it in tonight's tools. So there's something about, we're in February. It's all this Aquarius medicine. Amethyst is your birthstone. My mom and my grandmother and all the things. So the energy of Saint Germain, lots of energies of protection. And so it's a cool vibe tonight. Really happy to be here with you. Happy new lunar year to you, by the way. Year of the dragon. As if it couldn't get weirder. I'm telling you, nothing's off the table this year. Buckle the F up. But, honestly, I wasn't ready for another repeat of 2023 anyway. I showed it to the door and closed the door behind it. So, whatever, right? Dragon, whatever, what you got. Great. Love that so much. Everything of last year, bye-bye now. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I'm like a flight attendant out of, oh, thank you so much. Thanks. Come again. Bye-bye. To 2023. Goodbye. Okay. So, the first thing we do is clear. What I'm going to do is, since your kit came with this sweet little selenite bowl, which, by the way, you can do so many things with. You can put, I'm a big fan of salt. You should always have some nice pink Himalayan salt in your house, or certainly Epsom salt, because you should be bathing in that. It's a really beautiful source of magnesium. right? So this can just hold a little salt on your altar. It doesn't have to be anything extra or fancy, but one of the things I like to do is work with my white sage bundles leaf by leaf instead of just burning it at the top. You're going to use the same amount of sage either way, but burning it leaf by leaf feels a little more reverent to the source because white sage is endangered. And so we want to be judicious with the way we work with our natural resources. So I put a couple of little leaves of white sage in my bowl, which you certainly can do that too. And then one by one, burn them. And if you do that, if you dismantle your bundles that way, you'll find that in a way it does last you a little bit longer. And one leaf of white sage is enough to clear a whole space. You really don't need more than that. And it will put itself out. So we're just going to watch the flame burn. And I want you to bring your full attention to this moment because I'm going to ask you to crystallize. I'm sure there's 10,000 things you would release if you could. Like I said, I have suitcases of energy. But let's just focus on 3 things tonight that we really need to clear, release, let go of. Especially as we have this squaring of the moon with Uranus, which is asking us, what do we really want, and what are we willing to gamble? What are we willing to risk? And one of the lessons of 2023 for me was not holding on to things that we think are perfect or really, really good because they're actually not as good as we think we are. We tend to look at things with like rose-colored glasses. So into smoke tonight, I'm going to make a little bit more smoke because we need to do a little releasing ceremony. Into this smoke, I want you to consciously release. And when I say into the smoke, I want you to imagine that the things that you need to let go of in this lunar cycle are actually released into that smoke and follow the path of the smoke. So out of the room, through the doors. I've got my dining room door open behind me, so it's, so the smoke is going in all directions. But I really want you to visualize what is it that isn't serving you, and so I love the feed, right? Otterly music, releasing self-doubt. Tracy's releasing perceived constraints. I love how Gentry right afterward comes in with self-doubt again. So And that's the kind of thing that should be released at an Aquarius new moon, right? It's like Aquarians are a lot of things. They don't really doubt themselves. They walk in conviction. It's kind of a remarkable trait. And it's one of the things I've learned from Aquarians is if you're going to do it, move in it. Don't do it and then go, well, my Libra goes, should I have done that? I don't know if that was a big mistake. And Aquarius is like, no. Good. Bye, right? Again, conviction, clarity, always thinking about the greater good. So if it serves you, great, but it's nice if it also serves the collective. You living in self-doubt doesn't really serve the collective, right? It doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve your relationships. It doesn't serve what you do at work, right? We do better in life when we step in confidence. So releasing shoulds, self-sabotage from May M. I love that. And I'm glad you're here too. Procrastination. Yeah, don't procrastinate. If you're procrastinating on something, can we just do real talk for a minute? Like, you don't want to do it. So don't do it. I've really learned in my life when I'm procrastinating on something, there's one of 2 reasons. Either I don't want to do it or I shouldn't be doing it in the first place. I really now examine procrastination. How many times have you had something on your to-do list and you kept putting it off, and then it turned out like you shouldn't even have been doing it in the first place? Or it just took care of itself and it was like, whoa. Procrastination is usually the universe communicating with you, unless it's your homework. And then you listen to me, you do your homework. Because I used to be a teacher and I would have students go, gosh, Miss P, I straight up wanted to write that essay last night, but you know what? The Grammys were on. And then all of a sudden, I'm listening to Taylor Swift, and I forgot who I was, and then all of a sudden, it was the next day. So, no. you do your homework. But if you're procrastinating on like going somewhere or doing something, or, you know, you probably shouldn't be doing it. So maybe it's a no to yourself. The rest of it with students, you do your, you know, I have to be the good parent or good teacher talking to you right now. I know. I actually used to not assign homework to my college students the night before the Grammys or any award show, because I was so tired of hearing, no, but you don't even understand. And I'm like, no, I'm tired of hearing that. It's due the next day. So we can release people. You know what the thing is? We're not really releasing people. We're releasing attachments to people, right? So it's okay to love somebody. It's not okay to be attached to somebody. I know that's hard truths to speak, but in my life too. So I'm just releasing attachments to anyone, anything that isn't meant to be in my experience right now. Just, again, thank you so much, right? Thank you so much. With a breath of love, poof, you know, there you go. Releasing rumination, overthinking, negative self-talk. Do you guys have your 3? You have it? Let me focus on mine. For me, there's a lot of tension. I can feel it, like in my body. I can feel my shoulders. Like, I always know when I'm like this, because naturally, like, I'm good about, you know, being soft in my body, but I could feel myself like this. So releasing tension in the physical and the etheric. I'm releasing self-doubt too, because I'm really stepping and standing in my power in my life right now. And I think I'm also releasing stagnation. Does that feel good? I mean, we're going into spring. We've had so much rain and a nice earthquake today to put a cherry on the sundae, but like, we've had a lot of rain. Like, spring is going to be beautiful. So just release, release, release. And what you can do is, once you find the smoke has dissipated, you probably are done with that part of your work for the evening. Does that feel good? Let it go, let it go. I was talking to my son. I think, I'm not feeling well, so I can't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but we were having this like really good conversation. And the upshot of it was, and it's nothing profound, but I give it to you because it's very new moon in Aquarius, and he's a very wise soul. Both of my kids are like, I learn so much from them every day, really do. But he said something to the effect of, have you noticed that like this moment, whatever it is at any point, is usually pretty good? And part of me was like, has he been listening to me? I've been saying that for a long time, but I don't like internalize it, so I still need to hear it. But he's like, the past can be kind of tough and the future is unknown. But have you noticed that usually the moment that you're in is pretty good? You know, he's like even this moment right now is nice. You know, it's you and me talking, and you know, we just had food, and I was like, yeah, you know, I said, I think you're kind of coming upon one of the secrets of the universe, which is if you live in the present moment, it's usually okay. It's usually pretty peaceful. It's when, you know, if you have regret, you're living in the past, and if you have anxiety, you're living in the future, because you can't really be anxious about the present moment. You can if there's something immediate happening to you, but unless there is, you're usually living in a different timeline. So I just thought that was really wise. I was thinking, wow, I wish I had known that at 17. You know, don't you? Pretty special. Okay, so now I've taught you what to do with your little selenite bowl, and we have our candle lit. I want to now move into the inspiration and intention phase of our time together this evening. My little wizard. So sometimes paint markers are like, I don't know, I'll use myself as an example. Sometimes they're like me, you've got to get them started. You have to push on them a little bit and wait, because they're not always ready to go. Looks like the team got mine started already, but if you don't see paint on the tip, you got to push it hard and wait, and she'll start to drip her colors, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I don't have a sample to show you, but The technique is going to be whatever you want this to be. The little bowl is cute, right, Tanya? I do like to work in ombre, meaning sort of the color flow of the natural Pantone or the rainbow. So, and I do want to paint both sides. I'm going to start by I'm going to put a little bit of my oil blend on the bottom of my stand, and I think I'm going to use my oil blend to sign it, which is kind of a cool thing to do. You don't have to see the oil, but just a little signature on the bottom. Seals it with the oils, and then it'll kind of hold the scent too. It'll dry. So drip drip. Okay, so get all your little glue bits and pieces off. So what I'm intuitively feeling for mine is I want to work with my intentions with my art tonight. So I always like to work with 3 intentions, you know that. So I want you to think about, what are your 3 intentions for this new moon? Again, do you have the new moon worksheet for tonight? Okay. But I can tell you, you should download the new moon worksheet for tonight. I couldn't get the Aquarius one to print, but there is a worksheet on that Karen can link to, and it has the kind of the keywords for tonight. But it's always nice to set intentions in alignment with the sign that the moon is in. So the moon is new in Aquarius. So what does that mean? Innovation. It also means moving beyond boundaries and borders. It means truth and articulation of your truth. It means the greater good and the highest good. So what's good for you, but what's also good for the collective. Other things for Aquarius, in terms of intentions that you might want to set. What's coming up for you guys? Oh, he pulled it up for me. Rebellion. Might be my favorite word in the English language. I just enjoy a good rebellion. So rebellion's good, pushing back against authority. Hope. Yeah, I said greater good. Authenticity is there too. If you're not truly being yourself, if you feel stifled or constrained or judged or limited, like you're being held back, tonight's a really good night to say no. No. I'm going to do it my way. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you mine, and I want you to really take creative, thank you for that, Jared. I want you to take like creative liberty tonight and absolutely feel free to make this your own. And then the center, what I'm going to do in the center is with the blue. So I'll show you that in just a second. Mine's going to be mostly blue. And then bring it down. It almost looks like the Libra glyph. So, and then I'm going to do the purple down the right side. And I'm going to assign each color one of my intentions. So the green for me tonight in my art, I think is going to represent healing through authenticity. So when you're doing art with intention, as you kind of color it in, or you can do like, you know, dots or patterns or whatever you want to do, but as you're coloring it in, and art is therapeutic. I mean, I know a lot of you do art as therapy. My friend Christine does a lot of art as therapy projects. I'm always just really inspired by her. She has a couple of different Instagrams, but she does ceramics now. If you're here, Christine, you got to throw up the link for your Instagram for your ceramics, because it's super beautiful what she's doing. But anyway, she has people paint and then throw things in the kiln, and it's really about like healing through your art, because when you're drawing and you're infusing your intention into paint or into, I mean, for me, cooking is art, because I love making, especially like soups and stews, and just throwing in random ingredients and talking to myself energetically about the metaphysical properties of them. But so I'm just imagining like how healed I would feel to be able to stand fully in my authenticity as a woman, which is hard to do when you're a wife and a mother and a, you know, meeting other people's expectations, right? And then sometimes I stop and I ask myself, what are my expectations of myself? Because life can just straight up pass you by. And then you're like, did I live for me? Was I living for other people? So that's what that whole side represents. Don't you think art is therapeutic? And then you can, I'm not going to do the whole thing with you for time's sake, but you can, like, I plan to carry my design onto the other side of my, on the back side. I always try to make the back side look as nice as the front. I was telling one of my team members, one of the hardest parts about my job is, like, I say things that are funny sometimes, and then it's like me, or it's just me and Jared, and you don't know if it's funny. I think it's funny. It's a good thing I'm a Leo and I'm just very self-contained. Okay, so my blue is gonna be this is a big one for me for this new moon. I don't know if it's a big one for you. Peace through authenticity and conviction. Like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I believe. Nobody may like it. It's just for me. And that's going to bring me peace. Was it funny? And then as soon as I talk about peace through authenticity, the peacocks start mating. Some of you are here for the puns. You know what I mean? I'm really lucky because in my corporate career, I used to do corporate training virtually before I started Sage Goddess. So it was also just me, myself, and I a lot of times on Zooms. And God help me. You know what I mean? Hope it's funny. Sometimes it was funny and it wasn't supposed to be funny. That's even worse. Like, well, shit, that wasn't a joke. Here we are, everybody. Okay, so me being honest and being authentic leads to happiness. I was telling someone this the other night because I was talking to someone. I was like, well, sometimes you're too outspoken or you're too this or you're too that. And I'm just like, yeah, but you know what? Fuck that. Because every time in my life I've followed other people's rules or done things the way people told me to do them, I have not been successful. And then every time I did things the way I wanted to do them, I was successful. So I love you, but no. It just hasn't turned out to be a true story for me. Not that I always do things perfectly, but when I do them the way I think they should be done, they tend to go pretty good. And when I follow other people's advice, it's like... So this is my big truth conviction tree. It's a big peacock situation. I'm telling you a true story. Like, every time I've lived for other people, it hasn't worked out. So, and then my purple, like my hair, which purple's my favorite color. Isn't that a surprise? It's so funny. I wanted to be in the moment, so I didn't really plan this with us in advance. I think it's faith. Faith that I know who I am, and faith that I know where I'm going, and faith that it'll be okay when I get there. I'm like, holy shit. This is my mom's middle name. I always thought it was a cool middle name. My grandmother was a minister, and I just thought it was cool that she gave my mom that middle name. I didn't pass it down to my daughter because my mom and I chose my daughter's middle name by accident, but together. So it's still really special, but I always thought if I had another daughter, I would have probably named her Faith. Okay. So again, just you can carry your colors up and over and all of that. And then whatever you choose to do on the base, you can do like lines and patterns. I love my purple so much. I think I'm just going to do the whole base purple. And faith is like it's not my word of the year, but it definitely is a theme of this year. It's just kind of like trusting the process. Because again, I mean, you know, so much activity in Aquarius is telling us you either do this authentically or go home. I mean, we've had so much time in Capricorn, which is paternal and telling you what to do and bossing you around, and now it's like, okay, so what are you gonna do? Did you learn anything? Big Daddy's not here to lead the way anymore, so, which I think is great. It's kind of like, well, the kids are home alone now. What are they gonna do? They'll survive. And then you can also get all kinds of crafty with the holder part. You know, and Michael's that part too, because it's, you don't want to leave any part of it kind of rough and raw. I mean, unless you like it rough and raw. And that is a personal preference. So anyway, you can take that all the way around. I use my breath on things, like even when I sign books, I blow my breath on it because it's my life force. So technically I'm drawing it, but I'm also giving it a breath job. Chipstones. Of course, darling. I mean, you can even do cool things, like you can drip a little bit of your wax on it, or I didn't say it. You thought it. That's on you. Okay. And then, look how beautiful. So it goes from being plain to being you with just your paint markers. And if you have other, you know, if you have other paint markers at your house or you have other supplies, Athena Mac, I said what I said. Okay. So now, y'all act like you're surprised. I don't understand it all these years later. I gave it the breath of life. Just like those peacocks are giving to each other right now as they create life. Okay. You have your fan. So we're now going to dedicate your fan for all of your magical work. Every time you light sage, you move the smoke through your space. Have you actually worked with a feather, though, for yourself to clear energy in space? We were really lucky. Haven and was there, Jared was there. I don't know if anybody else was there when he had the copal, and he actually, like, it just feels like if you have someone actually working over your physical body with the feathers, it just feels so good. Oh, and yeah, you could totally use, do you have any of those like egg coloring kits left? You know, the ones from Easter where you get that great idea, we're all going to dye eggs, and then nobody dyes eggs, and now it's just like the pause kit that's sitting in your cabinet, or is that just me? Those horrible little dye tablets. Or you could do it the nice apothecary way and make your own handmade dyes out of pomegranates and blueberries, or you could use the $3.99 thing from, you know, your local grocery store. Okay. So what I want you to do is we're going to use our left hand. And this is a ceremony that you can do anytime that you're working with intentions. Now, if you don't feel like you fully released everything that you wanted to let go of, that's your right hand, okay? And so you can use your feathers anytime you like to release those energies. And I want you to physically touch your hand. It feels really good. Do this to your honey later. It's really sexy. If you haven't felt feathers on bare skin, it's sexy. So your right hand is your releasing, projecting hand. So anything we release, and you can start at the top of your hand or your arm and just pull it through. So anything, again, you're releasing self-doubt, procrastination, fear, bullshit, whatever you're releasing by, right? And then when you call in, so you extend your left hand, which is your receiving feminine hand, okay? And instead of moving from the top of the arm out away from you, you're going to go outside of you and call those energies in and pull them in over your hand and up. And I like to pull it over to my heart. So I want you to think of the 3 things that you are calling in tonight. What are your 3 main intentions under this Aquarius new moon? So again, it can be freedom, liberation, authenticity, expansion, open-mindedness would be a really good one. Although I always say you Aquarians are super open-minded, except when it comes to your children and loved ones. Like my mom used to say, people should do whatever they want to do, except you. Everything you're doing is terrible and you're probably going to hell. But those people over there, they should do all of those things. But you, no, that's whatever you're doing there. Because you know me, when I was young, I was experimenting with all the things, and my mom didn't think I was going to a great place in the eternal for a long time. She came around eventually. So we're dedicating it right now. Are you ready? So first we're going to do our intentions, calling in whatever it is, abundance, good fortune, authenticity, and bring them all the way up to your heart. New love, new ways of doing love and being love, new types of relationships, and new what is it? You know, it has to be new, but it doesn't have to be a new thing. It can be a new way of doing something. It can be, you know, what else is really well aspected at this new moon is compassion and communication. Compassion in communication. So like if you're at a stalemate and you're just arguing and you're fighting and you cannot find common ground, like common ground, right? Diplomacy, ease in communication, understanding in communication, you know, seeing the greater good, moving beyond your own needs and desires, right? Okay, and then when you're done with your last one, I want you to hold the fan over your heart and cover it with your left hand. And I want you to first receive the energy of this fan tonight. It was created with love for you. The intention is clearing with selenite and peace. So moving energy, but also calling in and aligning with and receiving peace. And then I want you to hold the fan in your left hand and cover it with your right hand. And into this fan, I want you to send all of your intentions for your work with this fan. So again, that it'll be a tool of wisdom for you, a tool of clearing, a tool of alignment, that every time you work with it, it will remind you of this evening and your visions and your intentions for 2024. It'll connect you with, and we have peacocks in the background, which I just think is super magical because there's a peacock feather in the fan. So we can also charge it with a little bit of peacock magic, right? Peacocks are all about protection. The legend of the peacock is that it got its eyes on its feathers from the goddess Hera in Greek mythology. So she had a bodyguard, Argos, who was killed. It's a long story. But he had 1,000 eyes and he was her bodyguard. And so when he was killed, she took all of Argos's eyes and put them on the feathers of the peacock. So when you see a peacock with its big spread feathers, the peacock became her new guardian. And so when it would spread its feathers, it was a sign to Hera that she was safe and that she was being protected. Isn't that beautiful? So those eyes are always, it's like the evil eye concept, right? They're watching out for you. So I thought it was cool that they're here tonight too. They're a little early. We'll have lots of babies this year. So thank you, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, source of all that is, across all dimensional timelines and gateways. Thank you for blessing this tool. Thank you for bringing us together, all of these souls that I love so dearly, in one space and time, no matter where we are. We are under that same dark sky tonight, creating new visions and dreams and releasing what doesn't serve us. May this tool serve us well in all ceremonies, at all times, for all purposes. And we give thanks for our time together in this beautiful sacred tool. And we bless all those peacocks in their hot moments. May their babies be healthy and strong. And together we say, Amen, Aho, so it is. Amen, Aho, and so it is. And then anytime, you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to go get my fan and just call it in. And you can do it for someone else too. If you're like, you need to let that go, honey, whatever, you know, train your friend is on and they need to get off of it, you can just be like, give me your right arm and your permission. And then say, so no, the universe doesn't like vacuums, right? So the universe, when we release something, wants us to give it an energy or a vision to replace, to restore, right? You don't have to do that, but if you leave it kind of the door open, then the universe takes that as permission for it to create on your behalf. And I like to think of myself as a conscious co-creator. It's going to bug the Venus and Virgo in me so much that I didn't color these. So I'm just gonna color the front just so you could kind of get the idea. And am I gonna promise you that I won't glue a bunch of shit to this? No, because more is more for me, and I'm gonna bedazzle the shit out of this, I bet. If there aren't stones glued to this by noon tomorrow, I would be very surprised. Because it's going to stare at me until I do it. But now you can see how much prettier it is when you just kind of paint the front. Cool, right? Now listen, it ain't a competition. Y'all are going to post pictures of yours, and they're so much prettier than mine, and that's great. I always say, I know who you are, all of the people in our community who are these amazing artists, and you will do a Martha Stewart job of it, and I'm happy for you, and I want to see pictures. I want to see what yours looks like when you're done with it. I will be inspired by you and not jealous, as always. Let's get my voice a moment. This is the most I've talked in 3 days. And I want to give thanks to my guides for letting me get through our time together tonight with my voice. It's a big deal. Okay. So, make a wish, darling. It's totally okay. Yes, Margie asked a great question, and if you have questions, fire away. I don't always have the answers, but I love seeing what's on your mind. So Margie was asking, is it okay to use the feathers on my energy work clients, not just on me? Sure. What I would do if you're going to do that is then bring it back to your heart space and dedicate it to yourself and to your clients, so that that's kind of an articulated vision in the universe. Is what I would do. So I would come back to that and do that. It was fun tonight, wasn't it? Okay, so I never blow out a candle without making a wish. I know it's like very little girl of me, but I don't know. Why not make a wish? I believe that everything you say and do, the universe sees and responds. Which is why you gotta, even for me, I can get into like, woe is me, poor pitiful pearl, my mom used to call it, moments, but you can't stay there. You know what I mean? You have to get out of that and say, okay, I've had my moment, but now what do I want to do, right? Lynn asked a question about feathers. Can you ask me again? I don't always see every single thing in the feed because I'm looking at the camera a lot, but I do try to get to your questions if I can. So Lynn, if I miss it, ask me again. Namaste. Winter's here. It's beautiful, and I thank you for it. Okay, ready to make a wish? If I could grant one wish for you, what would it be? I can't. I mean, it's not my way, not my ability. But what if I could? What if someone could? What if the universe can? One wish for you. I mean, if like one wish, big one. You ready? Ready? Mine was a good one. Hope yours was too. Is there something else you can use? You have a thing about using feathers. Be creative is what I would say. There are people, by the way, I don't like have a specific link for you, but this could be your fun nighttime rabbit hole. First of all, I've always thought it'd be cool to make a fan out of oracle cards. Am I weird? Like to choose your favorite cards and kind of spread them and make a oracle card or a fan out of oracle cards. Do you know what I'm saying? Kind of. That could be cool. I've never seen anybody do it, but I think it could work. Leaves, I love Anne's suggestion. I've seen people who make feathers out of wood, out of stained glass. My friend Denise got me beautiful feathers made out of stained glass that Jared incorporated into our apothecary design, and it's super, super pretty. So yeah, bamboo. I don't know, be creative, you know what I mean? But I just think if you have an oracle card deck that you really, really love and you kind of fan them out, because sometimes the art on the back is so pretty and they sit in boxes all the time. You know what I mean? Like, and glue them and attach them to a handle. Could be a selenite handle or like a... You guys are creative. A folding fan, sure. Those are sexy. Haven and I kind of fell in love with some in Tucson, so we bought them. I don't know where they are. We'll probably find them a year from now, but they were really pretty. And then post pictures. One thing I do want to ask is tag us on Instagram. You guys don't do it enough. I'm telling you this because I'm on Instagram and I'm looking for you. So tag us at the Sage Goddess with your altar setup, with your crafting, and we will reshare your post to our story, which is super duper fun. Everybody loves to see what the community is making. So whenever I see DMs with pictures where you've tagged us, I always reshare it to the feed, and Karen does too. So if you get bored this weekend, or if you don't get bored, think of us and do that. Yeah, palm frond could be really pretty too. I'm blowing out my Selva candle. This is not to say anything about tonight's kit, but I'm having a moment with Selva. It is exactly the scent from the Yucatan when I went in August with my kids for my 50th. It is identical. It's lemongrass and grapefruit and tuberose, and it is incredible. So I made a second wish with that. If you haven't gotten the Selva perfume or the candle, I do recommend it. Stay there, Jared. Okay. I know, like, we're in and out. Okay, hold on. Now, I need to open my circle, release our guides and guardians from this evening. Yeah. There are places to buy, we ethically source feathers or use vegan feathers, and there are places to buy ethically sourced feathers, so please don't hesitate to look for those places too online. Okay, so let's release guides and guardians who have been so attentive to us this evening. Oh, he's plugging in the fountain. First things first. So thank you to the guides and the guardians of the 5 directions who've been holding us this evening. So thankful to the guides and the guardians of the spirit element, ether, Akash, magic, for gathering us all together this evening. The guides and guardians of the above and the below, we release you with gratitude. Thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the north, the west, the south, and the east for tonight's magic. Thank you for gathering us all together, helping us shape shift and transform. There's yours truly being tired. And also helping us release and renew and heal and stay grounded and safe in the process. We thank you so much for your presence. We release you with gratitude. Tonight, as we always do, and thank you for being here so much. We're so grateful for you. So, yeah, some of you have asked about my bracelet tonight. This is a rad bracelet. This is a lapis and rutilated quartz doublet, meaning it's lapis with rutilated quartz on top. And there is a little bit of citrine, rutilated quartz, more rutilated quartz, and then another lapis doublet there. It is one of the most beautiful bracelets, and it's all adjustable. I'm giving this away to one person who gets your Pisces new moon kit for next month. And you got to see it because it's so cute. There's a little fountain in it. And you need to give me 2 minutes to explain why this is special. In the mist that's coming in this kit that Sweet Jared is bringing over right this minute, in the mist, not that it's the most important thing, but there is actual distilled essential oil from my garden in this mist for the first time ever. My dad's white sage, the pink jasmine that he planted for me, harvested and hand distilled at SG, this mist. It's intoxicating. You will want bottles and bottles and bottles of it. And I'm here to tell you, I don't have more. I don't think we have more. I think we put everything we had into the kit. I know. So it's called Athena's Garden, and it's legit. It is legitimately flowers and herbs from my own garden that we custom distilled with a small essential oil distillery at SG last month for you guys for this kit. So the idea is, it did stop for a minute. Is that intentional? Okay, so the idea is you have your little fountain. Is this the sweetest little fountain? I'm going to turn it so you'll see how it actually looks for you. And the water comes through. It's a regular, actual functioning. It's a USB fountain. And then the idea is you put a little bit of Athena's Garden mist in there, and it will diffuse the scent through your space. Because, do you get it? It's a Pisces new moon. And wait for it. And wait for it. It's coming. And then you get your stones. So you get your open flow candle, which we thought was a fun name for your candle, and it's beautiful. And then you get your stone set. And what I recommend you do is put your crystals. It's not quite going, but I think we're kind of doing it on the fly here, so stay tuned for a minute. I can hear the little motor running. Put your crystals in here, in a little space like that. And then pour some of and we'll set our intentions and infuse those crystals. There's aquamarine in there, of course. And then we'll add Athena's Garden Mist and light our candle. And that's our ceremony for next month. Isn't that cute? So go get your Pisces fountain. It'll come with your crystals, with your candle, and with your mist. And then, like I said, I think the star of the show is the mist, because it's the first time we've ever diffused our own essential oils from my garden for you. And it's insane. It's heavenly. You will, again, like I said, you will want that on its own just for yourself. And then one of you gets your kit before midnight. We'll get the bracelet. Isn't that fun? So cheers. That's at sagegoddess.com. Karen has linked to it. The Selva candle is also, I think, still available. I don't know. We have the perfume version too of Selva. And then I think there's some of the fans left over from tonight. Karen will direct you where you can find that. Just in time for us to be at the end of our ceremony. I can feel my fever coming back. So thank you for your patience. I have been out this week. I've been very sick. I was so thankful to be strong enough to be here with you guys tonight. I will be resting this weekend because we have, since class wasn't happening this week, we have Apothecary Monday and Wednesday, so I get to see you twice next week. I will be at our live gym show on YouTube on Tuesday afternoon. And then I think Thursday, all God's children rest for a day. I don't know if Jared's going to look if we rest for a day or not. We'll see how we go. Isn't it cute? There is a little...
Creating our altar with them, actually.
Oh, yeah. Is that the Ostara? Yeah. Okay. So then I think Friday, all God's children will rest. And then I think there is a light inside of the fountain. There is. Not this one here right now, but like in the reality of what the fountain is, it does have a light. Okay. Are there any perfume or candles from this set left, Myra? It will have Karen double check and comment for you. I want to say thank you for your kind, sweet wishes too. Really appreciate you. If I'm a little quiet this weekend, that's why. But I also get bored, so I'll be checking in with all of you in Apothecary. But cheers. Thank you again to Jared because you're coming to my house. I could do this from home. Thank you to Team SG for being behind the scenes. We love you. Happy new moon. Hold the vibe. This is a big one. Remember, Venus will make it easier while Uranus makes a mess. And we'll see you soon. Oh, you mean the stop stream?